I ran with all the strength I had, but it still didn't let me go. But at the very moment I thought I was going to die there, a shadow rushed towards me and dragged me into the nearby bushes. Hello everyone, I'm Sylvie. If you want to hear more about my story, please support me by clicking the like and subscribe buttons. Thank you guys. I was born into an extremely wealthy tycoon family in the city, and thanks to that, I studied at the most prestigious and exquisite high school in this city. The only two people at school I rarely connected with were Judy and Nicholas, because we come from similar backgrounds. Nicholas became my boyfriend, and Judy is my closest friend. We are a distinct group within the school, despite being an upper-class institution. Nicholas is literally a rude guy. He likes to solve everything with violence and the power his parents gave him. I'm also extremely frustrated with this thing called love. But because of my parents, I have no other choice. They think my family background is not worthy of anyone else except him. Anyway, thanks to him, most of the students in the school don't want to approach or get close to us. Judy is no different from Nicholas, as she always cheers enthusiastically every time any student falls under Nicholas's fist. I admit that the three of us are different from the rest of this school, but things like bullying others or showing off our power are completely meaningless. Fortunately, Judy has a very good taste, and he's also a very good friend, so I still accepted to be with them and created the trinity of power in school. Even in his darkest dreams, I'm sure Nicholas never envisioned the scene he would see that day. On that particular day, Tom was moved to our school. He comes from a very respectful household and is the son of a well-known biologist. I was expecting Nicholas 2.0, but it was much above. That day, while we were having lunch, a guy passing by accidentally tripped and spilled his entire lunch on Nicholas. Needless to say, Nicholas was angry. His face looked like he wanted to devour the other guy.
You idiot! Do you know how expensive the outfit I'm wearing is? Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean it. Sorry? Your apology is not worth $10,000.
Before the other boy could react, Nicholas's fist was already on its way to his face at a terrifying speed. But then, a strong arm reached out and blocked Nicholas's punch.
Hello, I'm Tom. I just moved here. It's nice to meet you. What is this? Who do you think you are to poke your nose into my business? Get out of my sight if you don't want the same consequences.
Then, with an extremely gentle movement and an extremely radiant smile, Tom pushed Nicholas's hand away, causing him to lose his balance. Nicholas roared like a wild animal, then rushed straight at Tom. But with an unbelievable reflex, Tom slightly moved aside, and all Nicholas caught was the dining table behind him. Nicholas's clothes now looked like an abstract painting. Realizing that he had no chance of winning against Tom, Nicholas did something we saw for the first time. He gave Tom a warning and left, while Tom still smiled and waved.
You should feel lucky because I feel a bit tired today. I'll deal with you later. Okay, see you later.
After learning about Tom's family background and learning that he was no worse than the three of us, Nicholas became even more out of control. He screamed, then suddenly smiled an extremely sinister smile.
Tom, very good. I'm sure you'll pay the price.
After that, Nicholas used many tricks in order to harm Tom, but Tom escaped unbelievably, as if he could read Nicholas's mind. A few days later, our school organized a practical session for students. The location this time is for us to learn more about nature, which is a national nature reserve. Most students enjoyed this field trip, but Judy and Nicholas did not feel the same way. This place is so scary. I miss my air conditioner.
I'll definitely tell my dad about this. This principal needs to retire.
Although Nicholas seemed very upset, of course he did not forget his feud with Tom. Take the time when Tom goes out to collect samples. Nicholas decided to burn Tom's tent. I stood from afar and watched Nicholas and Judy tiptoe closer to the tent because I didn't have any animosity towards Tom at all. But surprisingly, less than 30 seconds later, both Nicholas and Judy ran out of Tom's tent in a state of extreme panic. All because inside Tom's tent, there was a very large tarantula, and insects were Judy and Nicholas's nightmares. The next day, the three of us set out on our first sample collection trip. Judy and Nicholas always followed behind me in a state of extreme panic because in the forest, there were many insects. They looked very different now than when they bullied others at school. We were walking when we heard a scream nearby, so we rushed out to see. When we got there, we saw one of our schoolmates lying on the ground. It turned out that he fell while trying to climb the tree to get to a mushroom sample. After seeing me run out to help my friend stand up, Nicholas and Judy ran out to help me because they basically didn't have the word help in their dictionary. But then a very large bug landed on the guy's backpack, and with the speed of light and two horrifying screams, Judy and Nicholas disappeared from the ground. Now, it's just me and this injured guy left. I struggled to help him up, but then we heard a noise in the bushes. And before we could panic, Tom stepped out of the nearby bushes.
What's going on here? Oh man, you're hurt!
Then, Tom quickly took out the first aid kit from his backpack and bandaged his friend.
It's okay, dude. It's just a scratch. You'll be fine.
Why do you have those things in your backpack, Tom?
Why don't you have one? My dad's a biologist. He taught me a lot about nature and related skills. Anyway, you two look like you need some water.
Tom pulled out 2 bottles of water from his backpack and gave them to us, as if the backpack on his back contained everything. Thank you very much, Tom.
You're truly a savior, Tom! Don't mention it. Now let's take you back to the tent.
Tom very gently carried the other guy on his back, and we were on our way back to the campsite. On the way, Tom told us a lot about nature and his survival skills. Sometimes he even stopped to give us some water or snacks that he brought along. Before now, Judy and Nicholas were always next to me. For the first time, I saw such a warm and joyful person, even though his family was no different from the family of the three of us. But while we were walking, we suddenly heard a noise around us. Immediately, Tom put the other guy on the ground and took a defensive position. I immediately understood that the strange sounds around me were caused by something that wasn't safe at all. Right after that, a leopard jumped out in front of us and started growling. Tom very calmly stood in front of us.
Dude, can you move? I don't think I can run too fast. Sylvie, it's all you now. I'll distract the leopard and buy you some time. That time will be enough for you and this guy to run away. I believe in you.
Although I was extremely frightened when I saw the leopard, when I saw Tom's eyes and warm smile, I regained my composure and nodded at him.
Alright, wait for my sign.
Immediately after that, Tom pulled out a small package from his backpack and threw it into the bush. The leopard immediately jumped after it. Tom gave the signal, and we used all the strength we had to run away. Although the speed was not fast, after a while we could no longer hear Tom's voice. Luckily, a group of friends saw us. I handed the injured guy over to them and hurried back to find Tom. I returned to the same path as before. But after walking for a while, I discovered that I was lost in the forest. Things got even worse when I started hearing extremely familiar sounds. Those were the noises from the leopard. I then used all my strength to run away from it. I ran with every bit of strength I had, but it still didn't let me go. But at the very moment I thought I was going to die here, a figure rushed forward and dragged me into the bushes nearby. It was Tom.
Found you. Next time, don't get lost in the forest again, okay?
Tom then left me in the bushes and went out to confront the leopard. I just dared to peek through the bushes and saw Tom pull out his jungle knife from his backpack and rush straight at the leopard. The leopard's roar scared me so much that I fainted. When I woke up, I was already in the hospital. I was told by everyone that it was an immature leopard that had escaped from its cage. After the teachers found out about it, they immediately went to look for me and Tom. When they got there, they found that Tom had almost fainted. He lost too much blood, but was still sitting in front of the bush where I fainted, watching over me. I immediately ran to find Tom. Tom lost so much blood that he was still in a coma and had not regained consciousness. I stayed by Tom's side and took care of him. The injured guy I was helping during this time also told me that Judy and Nicholas had been dating each other behind my back all along. But I wasn't feeling down to hear that. Right now, all I want is for Tom to get up. One day, I fell asleep while taking care of Tom, when I heard a very familiar voice.
Come on, Sleeping Beauty. You should at least choose a better place to sleep.
Tom, you're awake. I jumped up and hugged Tom, but then realized that was a bit too much. I should let him rest. I just wanted to thank you for saving my life. I tried to get off Tom's bed, but he held me back with his strong arm.
There's something I want to tell you. From the first day I met you, I've had feelings for you. Back then, it wasn't the right time. But now, everything's different. Do you agree, Sylvie?
I was so surprised when Tom said what I was thinking in my heart. I hugged Tom and kissed him for my agreement.